there's all these cloud drive storages for
Tons of
Joe
them.
Schmo to use. Yeah,
Yep.
So, okay, I didn't want to tell you this before, but okay, is this going to be a problem? So when I'm at work, sometimes I have to check my personal bank account on the company computer. Is that a problem? Did they get access to my personal bank account?
this goes back to the computer use policy. It depends on how much the company does, but technically, if it's on their network, it's their data.
So wait,
Yeah.
but I log into my personal bank account with like its own password and stuff. So that'd be protected, right?
No. I mean,
yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Well, and okay, so like yes and like maybe traffic wise it's not there, but the fact that you've logged into it is you've passed data off of your machine.
We still can't get into your bank account. I still don't have your password, but the data you transmitted back and forth from your bank will be logged. Will
right.
be stored on the servers for anybody that has the ability and the authorization to go and sift through it.
Oh, wait. Okay.
Yeah.
Oops.
Well, and again, no names, right? But like we just had an issue with a customer who, sparing all details, basically was looking for a file online, went and clicked, downloaded what they thought was a PDF, clicked on it. So they're using Defender for Endpoint, which is a tight security thing, right? And basically, the tool caught this file that they opened, basically blew up. It was a virus, right? It's the takeaway. And this thing basically went into the browser. So they're using like Chrome or Edge or one of these browsers, grabbed all the passwords out of it,
Yeah.
exfilled it, took it to wherever they took it, right? So this is now a breach. Now we've got data that's missing. And then the step 2 on this is it tried to go and execute a crypto locker. So basically sits dormant, locks up your machine. You have to pay a ransom to get your money back, right? Just quick synopsis. So, okay, something happened. What happened? Well, we got the tool in there, so we knew what happened. We could see what it went. It told us right away that it, we wasn't sure whether it actually exfilled the data, but it got the bank account. They got the log into the bank account off of this person's machine. So what you're talking about is like, can they see my traffic? But let's say I stored that credential sitting in that browser, right?
Because I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to log in every time.
Yeah. So basically, this thing, and boom, it's off in the hands of somebody who shouldn't have it, and they don't have multi-factor on their bank account. So basically the bank ends up seeing this fraud thing going on, and it's like, wait a minute, something's wrong. So we're in there remediating a bug that got on a machine that the antivirus platform pretty much got in there and squashed, which is great, right? Did a wonderful job, detailed it beautifully. But and like the counter to the whole thing was, they still got the bank account information because this person didn't have the right security controls. So it's a little bit of a long, windy story, but I think it's valuable, right? Like even so, could we sit there and go look through their web logs and tell you what was in our bank account? No. But the hacker was able to run something that briefly was able to scoop some data and shoot it. They didn't have the right security controls on their accounts, so therefore somebody was able to get in there and do like a funds transfer or whatever, and right, just follow the bouncing ball. So never assume that your data is safe, right? I guess is the point. Always add controls where you can add controls.
And use the controls.
Please use religiously. Well, never don't use the controls.
This has been very helpful. I am going to, implement all this and, to make sure nobody's on my computer at night. I'm just going to bring it home, leave it in my trunk of my car so nobody can get it. And I'll take it back and forth to work with me.
Oh, stop.
Wait, what?
So the computer in the car thing is a terrible idea, right? But let's take that another run out, right? I know a ton of small business folks that we do backups. They do have a server, that has information on it. They back up their stuff. They back it up to a USB drive. The USB drive comes home with take your pick of employees and sits in a purse or a glove compartment.
That is a very lucky USB if it's riding in my purse. Thank you.
Yeah. Mind you, the data is not encrypted, and the user is really under no obligation not to go do what they want with that data, right? So it's like, it's the same thing, right? I mean, you have to think from an insurance standpoint, what happens if the laptop gets stolen? What happens if, like, I'm assuming it's a laptop, right? We'll just assume laptop, tablet, PC, I guess. Is your auto insurance going to cover the loss of that asset? And like, probably not, right? So from a business perspective, that's a terrible idea, because if it's sitting in your house and it gets stolen, then we can go after, getting our data back and getting our system back and getting paid for replacement of hardware. But like, if you just left it sitting in your glove compartment or your trunk, not to mention temperature differences and variances, like, it's a piece of computer equipment, right? It's all solder and flux and metal bits and plastic bits, right? They're not used to that kind of a temperature fluctuation, just from a basic standpoint.
Especially here in the Midwest with the crazy winters and the crazy summers. And to add to that, depending on the process, you're lucky if you have somebody that knows what that data is. You're lucky if it's a sysadmin that it lives by the backup center that then has to take that laptop or those drives home. I've seen it too, where it's just like the secretary that just so happens to drive by the data center on her way home, and she picks them up, puts them in the back of her car, and drives home. Hopefully she's got a garage. Hopefully she takes it inside her house. But depending on the process, kind of circles all the way back to employee training and expectations.
Well, I want to say now, I mean, I hope the audience knows I've just been playing along with this. Like, I'm really hoping. So I'm going to say that just in case. But I asked that question because I remember years ago you talking about, I don't know if it was a bank or another business. Someone was backing everything up to like an external, like a backpack drive. And they chucked it in the back seat of their car.
Yeah.
And then someone broke into their car and they, like, I don't remember if it was still there or they got it, but it was just this big, like, why would you take everyone's information, like, and just leave it on the back seat?
Well, that, or you have the folks that are doing a backup to, their house. Like, okay, we don't drag the USB drive around, but we do synchronize it across the internet to my uncle's house, and he's got just all terrible ideas, right? Like, it's just, what happens when somebody breaks in there and steals the drive? Because now there may be no exposure, or there may be 100% exposure. You just don't know.
Well, and I love our 19-year-old son, but if he has his 19-year-old buddies who he's just meeting and they're coming over to hang out, and you're backing up everything to something in your basement, sure, we can trust him, but are you positive you can trust everyone? You really have to think about that.
Is your network at home segmented? Probably not.
Ours is.
Oh,
well
here, obviously here.
But you're right. No, most of them are not, right? Okay, so then that runs you to a whole new thing, right? So, like, disk encryption on your laptop, disk encryption on your PC, your Apple devices are encrypted. So, like, iPad, iPhone, if you lose the thing, somebody steals it, whatever, right? You can go on the Find My app and you can blank it. If you're doing something that's, a bit more industrial, you've got a bunch of employees with hardware running around, like, mobile management's a smart thing, and you can get it as part of some of these, like, Microsoft service bundles, which is pretty slick, and it just kind of enhances the whole thing. But just from a basic standpoint. But if you're running around on an Android, I don't believe those are encrypted by default. So if somebody steals your phone, can get past the thing, just get to the data footprint on it, you can see whatever you want to see on that thing, right? And an average PC is kind of the same way. Like, there's no encryption on a PC hard drive. Like, you can pull that hard drive out, plug it into another computer, and read what's on the disk. And you go, who's going to go to that much trouble? Well, if I just stole the computer that was sitting in the back office of the ice cream shop, odds are pretty good. There's customer list and vendor list and bank account information. I would totally go do that because that 10 minutes of effort could yield me a ton of money and make you just sweat until I knew what was going on. It sounds like kind of a overly, paranoid thing, I guess, but like, I don't know. That's just step one for me is we encrypt everything. Again, we have a 19-year-old son and he has his buddies who we know and love, but like also if one of them is having some money issue or a challenge or whatever, right? Like, I mean, if you've ever seen an iPad, they travel pretty easy. And there's $1,000 worth of hardware sitting right there. Same thing with the MacBooks and the PCs and all these things, right? It'd be a breeze to just shove one in your back pocket and go, so.
All the data's yours.
All the data's yours, So.
Well, thank you guys for all of your help in protecting my ice cream shop and getting my money back. And
Anytime.
That's how we roll.
so if I want to get help, I mean, obviously you call and say you want to get help. What if I'm not sure if I'm doing the right things? Can you guys come in and even look at and see what I'm doing?
Let's just have a conversation about it, right? I mean,
We offer a free consultation too.
Right,
So that's a conversation we could have that's not going to cost you anything.
right. And we're a bunch of ethical folks, right? So if we're seeing you or we're having a conversation with you and you're describing a nightmare situation to us, we're going to try and do our best to kind of go, okay, this concerns us, right? No shocked faces and, no judgment because we've seen literally the worst. So you're probably way better than most of the stuff that we've tripped across in the years. But, I'd rather just know that you know where your exposure is than not, right? I mean, we're here to help, right? So a half an hour conversation that costs you nothing, at the very least, at the end of the day, you're going to walk away and go, okay, well, I wasn't worried about that, but maybe I should be. And then, yeah. And then it's like, then the other side of this is, okay, I don't have a ton of money to go invest in I sell ice cream. I make, 10 cents a cone sort of a thing, right? So let's just start to look at the options, right? So we don't have antivirus, we don't have storage, we don't, we need all these things, we don't have all these things. Okay, well, what's the cost-effective way to make this happen to get you a high level of service for a reasonable amount of, time, money, effort, whatever, right? And it's like, there's a ton of stuff on the market right now that makes this stuff really easy to manage and work with and get into, where if we were 10 years ago, I guarantee the price tag would be too much, right? But like anymore, it's like a monthly, fairly level cost thing you could get into, and then you don't have to stress it. You can just sleep at night, and I'd rather have the conversation with you up front to go, all right, look, you do have issues. Here's what the issues are. This is something you can do for free. This is something you can do for free. This is something you can do right now for free. Go register MFA on your bank account, right? Just go do it.
I was going to say, one of the things is just enabling most of the features that you already pay for, most of the security features that these vendors already give to you.
Yep.
And part of the hassle is just having somebody like Keith, somebody like Stacy, somebody like Denny to help you through those, configure those properly all the way,
Like we have a Square account and 12 employees, so everybody has their own login. That's awesome. But we set them all as admins. Yeah. So that means that everybody can do anything they want. Well, what happens if I back down the 12 employees to, a user? Well, okay, let's go try that. And we'll see. And if it's not functional, we'll figure out how to adjust it. But don't leave it wide open, because that's just asking for issues.
And there's also the other things we've talked about. Like if you're someone who is like, okay, we have your free consultation, you're feeling like I'm not secure and I really want to know, we can do a mini assessment, like a small thing where we come in, we look at your business and we just give you a 1 or 2 page report going, hey, look, these are the things that you need to check or change or do. You don't have to have us do the work. You can do it all yourself. We'll
Yep.
we'll tell you what you need to do. Um, and again, it's not about you know pushing services on you or trying to sell you our time or anything. It's just making sure that you have what you need.
Right.
So that's an option as well. And I just want to make sure people know you don't have to have some big 2 week come in and it's
Yeah.
it's
No.
a it's a quick in and out. It's a here's what this is and what you need.
Yeah.
Um,
Most, go ahead.
and hopefully a lot of it we can accomplish just on the free phone call and get you where you need to be.
That's what I was gonna say. Most of it is, we've done this for so long that off of a conversation, we can be like, oh, okay, we should get this deal, we should get this deal
Right.
right off the
Yep.
bat, and it's really easy to take those first steps.
Yep. Try this, try this, try this. And the odds are, as we're rolling through these things, you're going to find, you're going to go, how about this every time I do one of these things within the first visit? I mean, I don't know. I think I'm a fairly trustworthy guy, right? Like, people tend to talk to me. So it's like we start to discuss the things that are going well and aren't going well. And it's kind of funny because there's a lot you can fix really quick if you know what you're looking at.
Yeah.
And so to be able to come in and be like, oh, well, this doesn't work. I've never been able to make, whatever function. And it's like, oh, well, here, just tick, tick, tick. There you go. Now it'll work. And so there's a lot of value that hopefully we can bring out with minimal time. It doesn't need to be stressful for you. It doesn't need to be a huge time constraint. It just needs to be easy. Technology, unless you're Google or Microsoft or somebody who's actually out there developing this stuff, is just a cost center, right? We understand that. We just try and bring it to you and give you what you need, but not anything more, and keep you safe.
And I think the very last point I want to throw in here is if you do have some sort of cyber event, because even though you're protected and you've done what you should, again, Hacker Denny's always going to be looking, and technology changes every second of every day. So you can be up to date on this date at this time, but life changes. So with that, if you do have a cyber event, call someone for help. Don't just try and fix it and cross your fingers and hope. And if you have that cyber insurance, more than likely they're going to be paying for these people to come in and
That's
help
right,
you.
yeah.
That's what you're paying for in
Yeah.
the insurance.
We
So
get pulled in to support that, and then it's usually like split the bill, right? Here's the month, here's the stuff we've done to support you. And then here was this big thing, and then they just, the company will turn it into the insurance company, and the insurance company pays for it. So this doesn't have to be.
and again,
a
read
huge
your
thing.
policy. We're
Right.
not guaranteeing every policy, but find a policy that does that for you. I always err on the side of, okay, this is going to happen. The question is when.
Yeah.
If you know what you're going to do ahead of time, if you've done your research and you know what direction you want to go, when it happens, you're prepared and can react in a quick, efficient manner.
Yep.
The best time to prepare for a cyber event is when it's not happening, right? So right now, when you're not being attacked, right now, go and find somebody to trust with your IT needs. You yourself can get started with your IT needs. And I just wanted to say another. Denny the Hacker is always looking for exploits to exploit. Denny the Hacker subscribes to zero-day attack newsletters. He's always on the forums. Denny the Hacker is always looking to exploit anything that can be exploited. So definitely keep up. Don't just do it once. Do it, quarterly. I don't know, depending on your industry. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes back to that things change every second of every day. And it is important, like this isn't something you do once and then go, sweet, cool, I'm done, and walk away. It's a quarterly thing. You have to make sure you're up to date and checking in and doing what you need to do. And that's just the world we live in today.
I mean, just to put it in perspective, right? So Microsoft will patch Windows pretty much every Tuesday.
the
Is it
first
monthly?
Tuesday of every
It's
month.
monthly, okay. So, Patch Tuesday is a big thing, right? So we watch for it. We don't ignore those patches. I won't usually put them on day one, but we'll wait a couple of days and then go apply patches. Um, Apple released, version 17 of their iOS the other day, and there's been 3 patches to it since.
Yep.
There's one last night, I think, 17.0.3 just came out in response to like 40 days.
Yeah, the first update came within the first 48 hours.
That's
of
right. Yeah.
the release.
Yeah.
So.
And it just, and it's those sort of things. And so how, okay, Keith, how do you know? Like I you know what? I subscribe to like a ZDNet newsletter. I've probably got 4 or 5 that I actually read. And it's
We're
just
nerds,
right?
Yeah.
But like you pop this thing up and it's just like tech news, right? And most days you just kind of scroll, delete, whatever. And then I'm sitting there and all of a sudden it's like, oh, did you know Apple's done it again? Somebody found another flaw, like go patch this thing. And that's how you stay in front of it, right? And I'm, this is not complicated stuff.
Well,
It's
that's
just something
not
you
fair
have
to
be
say.
aware of.
It is complicated stuff for some people.
Some people, yes.
I'm not going to let you get away with that. It can be complicated. I
Yes.
think the more, I've learned the more you look at technical things on social media and that sort of thing, the more your social media feeds with that sort of information. And I think before you know it, you'll even have this stuff coming to you going, hey,
Right.
read this newsletter, do this thing. And it's just, again, it's part of running a business at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Little precaution is a good thing. So, and like find somebody you trust to help you. I don't know if
I trust Denny the hacker.
Not Denny the hacker.
But Denny the IT guy
Denny the
is
good
pretty
guy,
brilliant.
Denny
So.
the good guy can fix pretty much anything. So that's your guy right there. Make a phone call. But anyhow, yeah.
Well, I hope that helps someone. I hope
Hopefully
you got something out of that. And if nothing else, it makes you really think about the next steps and what you need to do if anything should happen to you or your company.